What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a ton of exciting things to talk about for the market this week. Virgin Galactic had an awesome flight into space today, actually. So we're going to be talking a lot about SPCE, and at the same time, the market is at all-time highs. We have a lot of stocks going crazy, and we have a ton of great information, and more importantly, plays for this week in today's video. Towards the end of the video, we have a $6.8 million trade, so make sure to stick around for that. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day, and then come join the StockedUp Discord. It'll be that first link in the comments down below. It's completely free, and you can network with 13,000 other members. But Tom, let's get right into today's episode.
Yeah, for sure, Mike. And last week and a couple of weeks ago, we've been kind of waiting for SPCE to kind of have this test flight that they had this weekend. Ended up being very successful. Richard Branson is on camera up in space, and he has a couple things he said in quotes. He says, "I have dreamt of this moment since I was a kid, and honestly, nothing could prepare you for this view of Earth from space." And this is just awesome stuff to hear. CNBC reports that after nearly 17 years of Virgin Galactic development, he finally achieved his dream and reached space on Sunday. So that's an awesome thing to hear. And the weird thing was that Virgin Galactic kind of sold off on Friday, which was interesting to me. I grabbed one call just to hold it over the weekend, a $500 call just to kind of, gamble on it to see what would end up happening, because I kind of like SPCE, but I will say that the movement wasn't looking good in the close right there. And a lot of people are saying it might even go down with the good news. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. But I think SPCE might have a pretty good day, especially in pre-market. I think we might see him gap up pretty well. This news was awesome. And like I said, we've been kind of anticipating this for the past couple of weeks. And it was just an unfortunate sell-off on Friday, but hopefully we can kind of gap back up, on Monday morning.
You know it. And what I find very interesting is we all know short sellers just got absolutely demolished in 2020 with GameStop, AMC, and a bunch of other plays. But SPCE, at least according to the StockBot, has a 20% short float. And like I just said, and like you talked a lot about, Tom, this is a pretty good catalyst, and the flight was very successful. So I'm very curious to see if these shorts are going to cover their shares, and if we might even see a little bit of a short squeeze with this one.
Yeah, I think we might actually see something like that. And I think a lot of buyers are going to be driving into this. And I honestly think that come Monday morning, if we start checking out those sentiment charts like on Wall Street Bets and everything, we might start to see it pop up. And guys, go ahead and join our live stream tomorrow at market open. We'll definitely be watching SPCE and covering Wall Street Bets and everything. But hopefully we start to see Wall Street Bets hop in. If that happens, I think that we'll start to see a pretty big move. And man, I think that with this catalyst, we could easily hit $60, I think, on Monday or tomorrow morning, I should say. And it seems like there's a pretty good resistance up there. And with this catalyst, we might pass above that, but I would say $60 might be pretty safe.
All right, so the live stream will be on the StockedUp live channel. The link for that is in the description down below. But Tom, give us some more levels on this one. I know you said $60 will be pretty big. I know that's a really big resistance level, but do you have any other notable support levels, resistance, any trend lines, anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. And intraday, especially on Friday, there was a pretty big resistance here or support right at $50 a share. And we're sitting right around there. So that might be a good support come Monday morning if we pop above this. There is a pretty good lower support down here around 43.30 as well. That one's pretty solid. But as the upper level, $60 and $55 is definitely looking like the two better resistances. And I would think with a catalyst like this, if we do see upwards movement, I think we'll definitely pass above 55. And I think 60 will end up being the main resistance. But even going out on a max daily, 62.80 was around the high. So be really careful with this one. It can definitely fly up. But keep in mind, it can also go down just as fast. And with catalysts like this, though, like I said, and like we've been saying, I kind of think it'll go up. And man, I'm kind of really anticipating this one, really excited for it tomorrow morning. And I'm really going to have my eyes on it and definitely watching it. So tune into the live stream.
Sounds good. So what else is going on in the market?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of stuff going on with Biden and Merkel this week. They're going to be discussing Afghanistan and cybersecurity and even the Nord Stream pipeline on July 15th, which is coming up later this week. So just keep that in mind. A couple cybersecurity stocks are NET and then CrowdSpace, CRWD. Both of those are pretty good cybersecurity stocks. And just keep in mind that they're going to be meeting and talking about that. But some better news is Reuters reported that U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Sunday signals she will push multilateral development banks further away from fossil fuel projects, saying she would like them to increase their climate ambition, in her own words, to support the Paris Climate Agreement on carbon emission reduction. So that's an interesting thing to see. And I don't know if they're going to be doing this with loans or what, but obviously, like she said, she wants these multilateral development banks to kind of get away from the fossil fuel companies, especially the startups, and kind of get into more developments with like solar, EV stuff and different things like that. So just keep in mind, it seems like the government right now is kind of pushing towards those like the climate accord and kind of like those EV sectors, which could be great for solar stocks and for EV stocks alike.
Good stuff. And then, Tom, at the same time, we have the markets just exploding. Nvidia is up to like over $800 a share. They have that split coming up on July 20th. And I know I made like a couple videos this weekend just talking about how tech stocks are so high right now and how the implied volatility on a lot of these stocks are just elevated. But I'm really watching Nvidia. I've been watching them for a couple weeks now, specifically for call credit spreads. I'm also considering puts. It's definitely a risky play, and they are a powerhouse, but Apple and Tesla had basically the same setup in 2020 with their splits. They ran up into their split, and then once their stock actually split, their shares tanked off, and Nvidia looks to be forming a pretty similar setup.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see like right here on the chart, I have it pulled up. Here's the split on Tesla right here on, let's see, September 1st, right there of 2020, maybe August 31st, but right around there, you can see how much they ran up and then really tanked off. And I'll honestly expect the same thing with Nvidia. And man, it's looking pretty good off of that upper trend line. It's honestly been moving off this for the past couple of years. And I'm pretty excited that it hit right off of that and started falling. And I would think that maybe this week, especially like maybe Monday morning or something, it kind of looks pretty bullish on Nvidia, but who knows? It just depends how the movement is. If we start gapping down, and I think if we break this 790 support, which has been a good support just for Thursday and Friday, I think that'll end up being a pretty good move to the downside if we break this support.
All right, well, let's get right into our member of the day. Today's member of the day is Spce. So he said, broke a record this week, the highest profitable day scalping on my small account. He made a post in the Profits channel saying, Mike and Tom, the scalp on the snow play that I called out Friday morning, and he's showing off his profits. Tom, let's highlight him in the Discord real quick. We could see he made some pretty nice gains this week. So huge shout out, Spce. Great job overall, and keep it up. But now let's get right into these momentum plays. With the first one, we have CHWY.
Yep, and with CHWY, go ahead and look at this one to go ahead and move to the upside. It had a pretty good day breaking these levels on the daily, on the intraday, make it pass above 85.70 to the upside.
All right, with the next one, we have Baidu.
Baidu, BIDU, these Chinese stocks actually started coming back a little bit. Go ahead and make this one move above the intraday high of Friday, right around 183.35.
All right, with the last one, we have CLF.
CLF, and with this one, go ahead and make it go up once again. This was actually a pretty good move, Cleveland Cliffs, but I would make it break this solid resistance around 22.65.
Sounds good. So these three plays have a lot of momentum to the upside right now. If they can break above the levels Tom listed, we like them for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow. So feel free to throw them on your watch list. But now let's get right into that unusual options activity for this week. We are looking at the Apple 150 strike calls that expired this Friday. There was around $6.8 million put into these, and I'm definitely going to say that the smart money is shorting these calls. IV is elevated, the stock has been exploding, and it just makes sense for them to be like covered calls or something of that nature.
Yeah, I would say so too, and it does expire this week, keep in mind, and there is a pretty good resistance here at 145 on Apple, and we kind of just broke that. I'm not sure if we're going to keep going up or not, but we're definitely right around that level, so definitely look for it to maybe go down. We're at 145.07. If we start to fall, I would say below this pretty good support level of 144, I would say we're going to have a pretty good move. So I think it just depends on the movement, but I would say with that much money, with it expiring on Friday this week, that they would definitely be shorting that as well. And like if tech starts to pull back and we see Nvidia and different things like that fall too, then it'll end up pulling down a lot of these other tech stocks, I think.
Sounds good. Well, guys, if you want to trade with Tom and I every single day, plus get access to our bots, options, day trading, swing trading, unusual options activity, a ton of different custom bots, definitely check out the first link in the description down below. You can cancel at any time. The bots have been on fire lately. Daily swing trades, day trades, and access to a ton of different custom bots. Definitely check it out. The bots have been doing so well lately. But now let's get right into these comments from the previous episode. With the first one, we have Raphael saying, "Crazy day, love your updates. You know I'm still holding my SPCE calls and shares. Let's go." So I really hope it pops for you. Tom, I know you're playing this one too. And, they had a really successful flight. So, with all of the current sentiment plus that short interest, I would expect a pop.
Yeah, me too. I would definitely expect a pop. Like you said, that short flow could really make a pretty good effect here. And if people start to see this as a sector that might start really be booming, and man, there is some news that Elon Musk even bought a ticket for this and made a $10,000 deposit to reserve a seat. So who knows? We might start to see some pretty big moves with this. And anytime Elon seems to talk about anything, it really likes to run. And man, that's some pretty big news.
You know it. And then we have Matt saying, "Hey, how has the hybrid stock bot been? I remember it was pretty accurate. I may have to rejoin." Yeah, definitely check it out. It's been doing really well. Yeah, we could see on Friday it had the Baidu 180 strike calls, alerted at 365, and they ran all the way up to 475. So feel free to check it out. It's been pretty hot lately. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let us know in the comments down below. We'll definitely help you out. With the next comment, we have D saying, "NVIDIA, typically strong tech stocks. From your experience, do they run higher into the stock split the last week before they split?" So, like we saw a lot, like with Apple and Tesla specifically, they exploded straight up into their splits. And then once they actually split, they tanked off. Now, that does not mean that NVIDIA is going to be the same exact pattern, but so far it is very similar. NVIDIA has been exploding. They just haven't pulled back yet. So one thing that I've noticed is that NVIDIA has been running up for a little bit longer than like Apple and Tesla were running up, and they were just running up in different ways. So it's hard to give like a one answer that fits all split setups, especially in a market that we're in, and especially given it's a crazy tech stock. So either way, I'm just like really eyeing NVIDIA for a shift of momentum from all of this upwards buying pressure to more of that like negative selling pressure and more like weakness type movement.
Yeah, and like you said, Mike, it's been up so much that it's almost just due to come down. No matter how good a stock is, it just never goes straight up forever. It always ends up going flatter, having a little bit of pullbacks. It's just the nature of how stocks work because people have to take profits at some point. And whenever those institutions really start to take profits, I think is whenever we're going to see this start to fall. And who knows, maybe that's what the start of this was with that pretty big drop that we ended up seeing last week. But I'm with you, Mike. And if it really falls through that support, I would definitely be very careful, guys. I think it could definitely start to go down. And for anyone who's like any of the hodlers or anything out there, just keep in mind that, like I said, stocks goes up and stocks go down. So always just keep that in the back of your heads that if you're like holding calls and stuff like that, and you're in your highly profitable right now, it might be a good time to maybe cut some of those or just take profits.
Gotcha. With the next comment, we have Dan G saying, "Hey guys, awesome job as always. What do you think of Roblox? I got the 100 strike call leap. I love the game, but let me know if you see any levels or potential." So we're not a huge fan of this setup right now. That does not mean it's bad. It's just not my favorite right now, and I'll let Tom input in a second. But one thing I wanted to say is it is a recent IPO, and it's not for me. But a recent IPO that I like better is Airbnb. They're lower and they're closer to a support right at that $140 level, and then resistance right at 150. It's been struggling to break 150 for months now, and it does have really good momentum. So for a setup like this, I like Airbnb better. But Tom, what are you thinking with Roblox?
Yeah, I think that there's just a lot of other setups that are better as well. But with Roblox specifically, I will say, looking at the 15-minute chart, there is some pretty good levels here. I really like and I shouldn't say 56, I mean $86 level here. This will pose, I think, a pretty good support for this week if it doesn't pass below this. If it does pass below this and then end up falling below 85, I think we might start to see another pullback to the downside. But I'll be honest, it looks like a pretty decent setup. It's sitting on this 1,000 and the 100 SMA here on the 15-minute. And I think that we might start to see a little bit of a move back up. And with the daily chart, that big move that we saw on Thursday was pretty big, honestly. That was a big recovery up from $82.
All right, with the next comment, we have Outlaw saying, hey, Mike and Tom, Palantir pulled back to $22.25. What are your thoughts? Thank you in advance. So, yeah, Palantir's been struggling a lot lately. They had an amazing run up since May 17th, and they basically went straight up every day for like over a month. So, like, I'm not really too worried about the crazy pullback we saw. I like them for the long term, but they are looking pretty scary for the short term.
Yeah, they are. They really hit that big resistance right around 27.50 to 28. That ended up being a huge level for them. And I'm just definitely having my eye on them also. It seems like a pretty good recovery play, though, I think, possibly over the next week or two, if we start to see the good movement out of the stock, maybe up above like the 23.50 resistance area up here. You could say like 23.40. It got pretty close, though. And I think that we'll see a pretty solid move, maybe to 24 or up to 25. There's definitely a lot of levels overhead on Palantir if we start to see good movement. But I think if we just see these growth stocks continue to go up, Palantir will start to turn around eventually. It's just a matter of when. And I think they're a good powerhouse. It's just a big pullback here. And, even though they're down, they're still up a lot from this bottom level. Like if we go to their low down here around $18 up to where they are now, they're up around still 28% from that level just back in May. And that's only a couple months ago, really.
All right, and then we have Clifton saying, what are your thoughts on Pinterest, Pins? So what are you thinking, Tom? They're bouncing right off that $75 support.
Yeah, they are. And that could be a pretty good move, I think. It is a tech stock as well. And if we see tech, like I said, start to recover back up, that'll be a good play. If it starts to go down, I think it'll end up being bad. But I will say that 75 support looks very solid, honestly. Even on the intraday, somewhere around like 74.30 seems really good as a bottom if you want to play, like get really technical with it. But man, this looks like a pretty solid setup, I think, back to the upside. And like I said, if a lot of these tech stocks start to go up, I think Pinterest will definitely be one of those leaders next week.
All right, Tom. Well, what are some of the top stocks you're watching going into this week?
Man, there's a few. I'm actually watching Boeing. I was really looking for recovery out of them. I noticed some of these Dow stocks started to do better at the end of last week. The DIA even started to pop back up, and they're almost to all-time highs now. And if we start to see Boeing and some of these airlines start to really come back, I think it'll be a good deal. I'm also going to be watching like Lockheed Martin. They look like they could also pop back up as well. And this looks like even a better setup than Boeing to me. But that's going to be the main two I'm watching. And definitely watching SPCE, though. That news with Elon Musk buying a ticket and just SPCE's successful flight overall, I think that'll be a really cool thing to watch on Monday morning, especially if we get a good move. And, that doesn't mean a move's going to happen for sure, but hopefully come pre-market, we see a pretty good gap up.
Sounds good. And thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget, if you want to trade with Tom and I every single day, plus get access to the bots, daily options, day trades, swing trades, unusual options activity. We basically have a bunch of different bots. A lot of them are custom, and there's a ton of great features with them, and they've been doing so well lately. So definitely check it out. It'll be the first link in the description down below, and you can cancel at any time. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But other than that, thanks for watching.